We should be able to have discussions without washing our hands and screaming and walking off stage.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most memorable times a host on The View got into a verbal fight with a guest. We won't be counting times when hosts went after each other.
You sit down here and you've got 5 women going, butter.
Yes.
Whatever it is, thank you for coming on.
Number 20, Meghan McCain on Cory Booker. Gun violence is one of the most contentious issues in modern America. With Senator Cory Booker on The View, Meghan McCain kept the debate going with questions about the guests' viewpoints. The host opposes the politician's support of gun control measures and the talking points of fellow Democrats like Beto O'Rourke. In defense of O'Rourke, Booker pushes back on McCain's divisive words.
We should watch the way we talk about each other. Seriously, we can't tear the character of people down. We have different beliefs.
He has no problem doing it to me.
Yeah,
I mean, he was very nasty to me about this.
This doesn't sit well with the presenter in the slightest. The senator seems to take the high road here, trying to focus on the principles that unite the country rather than those that divide it.
I'm not letting ourselves be divided by false arguments.
McCain tries to clarify with her final words as she seems unsatisfied by the political leader's response. Needless to say, the argument does not get settled here.
You're for background checks and you're for mandatory gun buybacks.
Number 19, hosts on Matt Gaetz. Conservative leaders don't always have the easiest time on The View. In this interview, Representative Matt Gaetz seems to come on the show with the express purpose of fighting back. He opens with several disses about the Democratic Party and Joe Biden's performance as a presidential candidate. This prompts plenty of hard questions from Joy Behar and Sunny Hostin about Donald Trump's choices.
So let's talk about your boss for a second, because yesterday...
Well, my boss are the people of Northwest Florida.
Yeah, okay. So yesterday, Trump...
Well, don't dismiss them. It's the highest concentration of active duty military in the country.
It's true.
Gaetz stands his ground on his viewpoints, upsetting even conservative host Meghan McCain with his take on pardoning political consultant Roger Stone. McCain pushes further on Trump's character, which starts even more crosstalk between the panel.
What would you say to women like me who still hold back on the grab them in the blank, attacking war heroes, attacking the Gold Star families, things like that that just
on his wife,
hold us back?
stars.
The controversial politician definitely ends this appearance without making any friends. Number 18. Hosts on Rand Paul. In another case of contentious political discourse, Senator Rand Paul enters the View arena to verbally spar with the panel. He talks about his book, his views on Donald Trump, and his ideas about U.S. foreign policy.
Left and right have agreed in the past that regime change doesn't work. When we got rid of Hussein, we got chaos and more terrorism. When we got rid of Gaddafi, chaos and more terrorism.
But Senator, we're here now.
The presenters do not agree with the politician's ideas about pulling American troops out of Syria. Paul takes a more anti-interventionist stance, while the co-hosts are more in favor of providing aid to allies. The politician's answer creates a larger discussion about whether or not American troops backing out would be ideal.
I let you talk, you let me talk. These are the same people that would still have us in Vietnam. These are the same people who always say, stay at war, stay at war, stay at war.
Neither side seems to reach a compromise as the discussion is cut off.
We may end up being in a bigger war.
Let me finish, don't interrupt. So Iran gets up against the border.
I'm sorry, Senator.
So
I am interrupting because
comes up
you're
against
going
the
to
border
stick.
and Israel
We'll be
pushes
right
it back.
Number 17, Meghan McCain on Pamela Anderson. The name Julian Assange draws strong reactions from both sides of the political aisle. By defending the man, Pamela Anderson becomes the target of Meghan McCain. The latter questions Anderson's defense of Assange in light of the figure's controversial actions. While the Baywatch star gives her version of the story, McCain keeps digging into the guests' answers.
I think that people like Edward Snowden, Chelsea Manning are heroes, and Julian Assange is a publisher.
Putin also thinks that.
It's immediately clear that neither woman wants to compromise on this issue. They both double down on their positions, with the pair fighting over the WikiLeaks founder's political motivations, and the host lets it be known that she does not approve in her final words.
He's a cyber terrorist. I'll say it.
The Republican Party won.
Number 16, Joy Behar on Tulsi Gabbard. The conversation between Representative Tulsi Gabbard and host Joy Behar quickly takes a turn for the worse in this clip. The leader begins by trying to set the record straight on who she is and her character.
Unfortunately, you doubled down on the baseless accusations that she made that strikes at the core of who I am. I'm a soldier.
Gabbard also defends herself from accusations of being a Russian asset, reprimands Hillary Clinton, and calls to memory her experience as a U.S. soldier, complicating the segment even more.
Really? I mean, this is outrageous. This is outrageous and offensive on so many levels.
Behar is quick to interject with arguments and opinions, not to mention some other uncalled-for comments, which threatens to snowball the dialogue into unproductive places.
She's a
I
warmonger.
served
How do
in
you
the
come
war
up with
in
that?
Iraq
Yeah.
that she championed. She championed a regime change war
Did you not
in
believe
Libya.
in that war?
I believe the lies that were told to us.
Well, so did she.
Number 15, Elizabeth Hasselbeck on Michael Moore. If you know either of these people, you know they exist on completely different political planes. This is especially true during a discussion of U.S. foreign policy and Osama bin Laden. Michael Moore mentions that the al-Qaeda leader should have been tried in a court, but Elizabeth Hasselbeck takes issue with that position.
What are we afraid of? We're Americans, man. No, the point is,
rights are not afforded to him as they are our citizens who obey the laws of this country.
The host doesn't believe that bin Laden deserved a normal trial. Both people stick to their positions, not budging on beliefs about the American justice system.
We will hunt you down, and we will take you into court, and we will put you on trial, and if need be, you will receive the maximum punishment.
Moore makes a firm case even though Hasselbeck loudly disagrees with him. The entire conversation plays like a tense back and forth, with the two panelists arguing right from the jump.
Even those citizens here who do not abide by law are granted those rights. Osama bin Laden never deserved those rights. Never did. Ever.
Number 14, Ana Navarro on Ted Cruz. Even after everything Donald Trump said about his family, Senator Ted Cruz still sides with him. This is exactly what angers The View host Ana Navarro. She brings up the disparaging comments Trump made about Cruz's wife, unable to believe that the politician would easily move on from such personal attacks and remain in support of the 45th president.
I don't know how you get over those kind of calumnies against your father, but you obviously have gotten over it. Today you sing a very different tune. So tell us, were you lying then or are you lying now?
The panelist jumps back in as people start raising their voices. No answer satisfies the co-host as she and the Texas political leader reach a stalemate. Navarro's glare throughout this segment says it all.
Joe Biden claims
You just said we don't scream at each other, right? Or is it just you that gets to scream?
Okay, no, I agree.
Okay, then lower your voice because we are very close to each other.
Number 13, Elizabeth Hasselbeck on Melissa Etheridge. As an outspoken artist and activist, Melissa Etheridge isn't afraid of speaking her mind. This segment covers her thoughts on measures like Proposition 8 that rolled back rights for marriage equality in California. She also calls out Elizabeth Hasselbeck for her views on the subject.
I was saddened with your conversation only because I felt you misleaded people.
The host tries to articulate an answer while also defending herself as merely presenting another perspective. Etheridge outright asks whether or not Hasselbeck is in favor of gay marriage, leading to the latter's complicated feelings about the topic.
For me, it's not a personal issue. For me, it's just a legal issue. I think that it should come from the people. I don't think activist judges should be deciding what's right for the rest of the country.
It's pretty surreal to watch this argument all these years later given the progress that's happened since. Number 12. Alyssa Farah Griffin on Kellyanne Conway. In this segment, two ex-members of Donald Trump's camp square off. Alyssa Farah Griffin asks Kellyanne Conway if she can still defend the former president despite the events of January 6th. Conway chooses instead to go after the host's own record and political past.
I haven't seen you since you've changed, but I want to say this to you.
I didn't change. Just to be clear, I didn't change. I swore an oath to the Constitution.
You get to talk here every day.
I swore an oath to the Constitution, not to Donald Trump.
Enduring the personal attacks, Griffin stays determined to get an answer to her question. The former campaign manager to Trump dances around her responses even as other panelists try to grill her.
You're not answering the question. How is this man qualified to be president if he incited?
He's not the president. Joe Biden
I know,
is.
but you're talking about maybe a second term. You've never denounced Donald Trump.
By the end of the interview, it's uncertain if anything is really gained. The entertainment mostly comes from seeing these two turn into full-blown rivals. Number 11, Meghan McCain and hosts on Donald Trump Jr. Anybody that knows this show or these competitors well knows what'll happen here. Meghan McCain takes aim at Donald Trump and his family, reading a list of accusations off as the president's son listens.
And I understand what you're saying about policy, but when you're talking about attacking Gold Star families who have given the ultimate sacrifice more than any of in this room have given, and you put them through pain.
It's the beginning of a feeding frenzy that includes plenty of justified grievances against the son and his family's name. Trump Jr. does utter the word sorry at one point, but then tries to deflect as much as possible.
And I'm sorry about that. They did have differences. I agree with that.
But I think just
and again, I'm sorry for the loss. I think you lost your aunt last night, so I do apologize for that as well.
It's definitely evident in this clip that you can't change some people's minds about anything. The guest even tries to go after Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg to direct the heat elsewhere. We don't think it worked.
Now that you've broken this piece of ice, because I guess this is the fight you wanted.
It's not the fight I want.
Yeah, it is.
But if we're talking about character, if we're talking about these
things... Are you questioning my character?
I'm not.
Number 10, everyone on Nene leaks. The drama may not be as apparent during the interview itself, but there's no denying there was definitely some shade being thrown around.
Why can't we see your furniture?
She got it.
Because, honey, we have to have security measures. Oh. But you're showing the house.
The TV personality and actress was hoping to talk about her Broadway role on the talk show, but instead, comments were made about the Real Housewives of Atlanta cast members' marriage.
I love being married.
But why did you get divorced in the first place?
Well, honey, I had to teach him a lesson.
The conversation also turned to her friendship with Donald Trump. After her appearance, Nene took to the Twitterverse and called the hosts a bunch of judgmental, quote, mean girls. Whoopi Goldberg was surprised to hear that Leaks was so unhappy with the interview, and while speaking with Andy Cohen on his Late Show, suggested she come back so they could try again. Something tells us that won't be happening anytime soon.
Did you know when she left that day that she was feeling sour?
You know what? I didn't. You know, come on. Really, Nene?
Number 9, everyone on Donald Trump.
I really believe there's a birth certificate. Why, look, she's smiling. Why doesn't he show his birth certificate? And you know what? I wish he would.
Before he became the President of the United States, Donald Trump was a huge critic of Barack Obama. His most infamous gripe with the former POTUS was on the question of his citizenship, and Trump constantly demanded to see his birth certificate. He brought this up to the ladies of The View, and things got a little heated.
I want him to show his birth certificate. There's something on that birth certificate that he doesn't like.
Oh, my God.
That's a terrible thing to say.
Whoopi, I'm telling you.
Whoopi,
I love you. I'm telling you.
At one point, everyone was talking at once, but Whoopi ended the chaos by calling it, quote, the biggest pile of dog mess she'd heard in ages. Surprisingly, the interview finished on a pretty positive note, with Trump and Barbara Walters hugging it out.
You're a great character. You're a great friend of ours. We don't know whether you should be president, but we do know that you will enjoy watching.
But you do admit I'd be a great president.
Number 8, Barbara Walters and Whoopi Goldberg on Glenn Beck. In this case, we don't just get one segment, but two. However, it might be more appropriate to call them rounds because Whoopi Goldberg and Barbara Walters took Glenn Beck to the ring. Right off the bat, the then Fox News political commentator said he was nervous about being on the show, and he had good reason.
Have you looked the way Whoopi is looking at me?
For 2 segments, he was grilled on his politics, his habit of crying on the air, and his lack of journalistic integrity.
Do you ever check your facts?
But you were wrong here. Yeah. And here's why it pissed me off. Here's why it pissed me off.
As usual, the ladies were not subtle about the issues, with Walters criticizing him for not fact-checking and Goldberg allegedly calling him, quote, a lying sack of dog mess.
We're going to give you a chance to breathe. I'm sure that you meant well.
We're giving you another segment.
And we'll give you another segment.
Number 7, Elizabeth Hasselbeck on Kathy Griffin. Kathy Griffin is a comedian who doesn't hold anything back. She's edgy, and her humor has the tendency to offend. Elizabeth Hasselbeck doesn't appear to be a fan and decided to let Griffin know when she came on the show.
You said things about people here that are A, untrue, and B, not so funny. So do you ever feel weird like them coming here, say, and sitting here?
Apparently, the comedian had made a joke or two at Hasselbeck's expense, and the View host was not happy about it. So she called Griffin out on the jokes, which ended up being to the comedian's delight, even after she was told her jokes weren't funny.
I'm cool if you're cool. I think it's all for a joke.
So cool. It's all cool.
As the comedian lives for uncomfortable moments, she tried to make Hasselbeck get really angry at her, but the host eventually backed down.
Anything else you'd like to say, Elizabeth?
No, because this is just getting good.
Number 6, Whoopi Goldberg on Kate Gosselin. When Kate Gosselin of John and Kate Plus 8 Stardom guest co-hosted The View, she talked about her custody battle with John and things got ugly.
That's the law. I know that's what the law says. And you could have gone to jail.
Kate didn't like the babysitter John picked for the kids, so she went to his house and called the police when he didn't let her in. Sherry Shepherd was understanding, but Whoopi Goldberg did not like what she was hearing.
You cannot do that. You cannot do that. And I'm saying I agree with you, because when they do it to you...
She laid into Kate, saying she was lucky she didn't go to jail for breaking the custody agreement. Well, you can always count on Goldberg to put things bluntly.
I can't even deal with the rest of this. We're going to go and come right back with more hot topics.
Number 5, Joy Behar on Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Fake news has been a hotly debated topic since before Donald Trump was elected president in 2016, so The View decided to tackle it with Sarah Huckabee Sanders since she was the then White House press secretary.
This has been a consistent talking point of his and the administration's. It's dangerous because the media is here for a purpose. It has a very important historical role.
The conversation started pretty civilly, with each side talking about accountability and responsibility of the media and of the administration. That is, until Joy said that it's the media's job to point out all of Trump's lies.
The media is supposed to not report on the fact that 95% of what he says is a lie?
This puts Sanders on the defensive, which is always an uncomfortable position for a guest, especially when Goldberg pointed out some questionable statements by the president.
Where was President Obama born, and is he an American citizen?
I think this has been pretty well addressed.
Number 4, Whoopi Goldberg on Jeanine Pirro.
I'm not here to talk about what Donald Trump is and isn't.
But you No, you got to answer the question.
Tempers had begun flying in this interview early on with Judge Jeanine Pirro, a Trump supporter and Fox News reporter. But things took a turn for the worse when she diagnosed Goldberg with, quote, Trump derangement syndrome.
Listen, I don't have Trump derangement. Let me tell you what I have.
Okay.
I have a lot of... I'm tired.
Goldberg fired back that what she actually is tired, and laid out all the things she didn't agree with Trump about. Pirro then tried to debate the subject, which turned into a yelling match, and ended with Goldberg saying she was done while ripping up her cards. After the interview, Goldberg explained that she doesn't like to lose her cool, but she hates being called hysterical even more.
Thank you to Judge Jeanine Pirro. Her book, Liars, Cheaters, and Liberals is out now.
Number 3, Whoopi Goldberg on Ann Coulter. Ann Coulter and controversy. Somehow, these two things just seem to go hand in hand. Coulter has always been very vocal with her opinions, so it's not surprising that she also took them with her to The View. This time, she claimed that white guilt got African Americans lighter prison sentences, or even none at all, and that this really started with O.J. Simpson being acquitted.
With the O.J. verdict, white America said that's it, the white guilt bank is shut down, and that ended up being the best thing that ever happened to black Americans.
Well, Whoopi Goldberg did not like this at all and told Ms. Coulter that not only didn't she know what she was talking about, but also that she didn't know what it was like to be black.
If you're going to talk about race, at least know what you're talking about.
What followed was Coulter trying to defend her argument while being shut down repeatedly by Goldberg. Number 2, Joy Behar on Omarosa Manigault Newman. Joy Behar hasn't made her opposition to Donald Trump a secret, so when Omarosa Manigault Newman, a Trump supporter who worked in the White House, came on the show in 2017, people got the popcorn ready. Things got a little heated when Omarosa rubbed the fact that Trump is president in Joy's face.
I know it's got to burn your blood.
Anybody can be president. He proved it.
It's got to be really... Joy, I know it's got to be really, really hard after, the last year and a half of all the things that you said about Donald to see him sitting in the Oval Office.
Joy reiterated that she was waiting for Trump to apologize to the people he insulted, like veterans and the disabled, to the delight of the audience.
I'm waiting for him to apologize for all the things he said about
you.
No, not to me. Not to me. To veterans, to John McCain, to the handicapped, the disabled.
Omarosa went back on The View in 2018 after falling out with the president, and admitted that Trump had coached her to fight with Joy.
He basically coached you before you came on the show last time.
He was so upset because he said that you was constantly in his face, in Melania's face.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg on Bill O'Reilly. Politics and religion are topics that can always create a heated conversation, and this one definitely brought the fire. Political commentator Bill O'Reilly has always held strong opinions that not everyone agrees with. In this case, O'Reilly felt that it was inappropriate that a Muslim mosque was being built so close to what was formerly the site of the World Trade Center.
The mosque down here on 9/11. That's inappropriate. It's sure they have a right to do it and in the Constitution, but it's inappropriate because a lot of the 9/11 families, who I know, say, look, we don't want that.
He continued on with even more problematic statements, which is when Goldberg and Behar got really upset and even walked off the stage.
I don't want to sit here. I don't want to sit here.
Walters immediately criticized the walkout before continuing the argument. However, she still gave Goldberg and Behar time to regain composure and return, during which time O'Reilly even apologized.
We're back because now you apologize. You apologize.
But that's not the issue.
Did we forget another time a host went off on a guest? Let us know in the comments below.
That's not what America does. That's not who we do. We stand by our people. Why did you want to release the name?
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.